get retaliation. But this is a very different story we've seen today. This is a prime minister of Israel, again, after 2.5 years of a war that has left Israel depleted, diplomatically isolated, and in economic rough straits, telling U.S. initiative to change the regime. I'm not sure how Israelis are going to respond to where they're basically being told, you are now being called upon to make significant sacrifices, including possibly the loss of your home and your life, on the altar of changing the Iranian regime. Israel is skeptical, by and large, that any kind of seed in regime change in Iran, and regime change has now become the explicit aim of this operation after we've heard from both Trump and Netanyahu.
And of course, Noga, it wouldn't just potentially Iran that the US and Israel are going to be fighting against. There's also the prospect of Iran's proxies. Clearly, they are not in the same a few months ago because of Israel's against them. But how will that all play out? Those proxies alongside, fighting against Israel and the US.
This is already playing out. The Israel Defense Forces have issued a mass call-up of reserve forces just in the last hour, and that includes forces to be stationed on the border with Lebanon or even in a buffer zone inside Lebanon on the border with Syria. The expectation is no matter what the Lebanese government has promised, no matter what political processes are currently underway to remove the threat of Hezbollah from Israel's border, that Hezbollah is likely or may well join its Iranian sponsors in this war. I saw a little headline just before joining you indicating that the Houthis, again, an Iranian-sponsored terror group in Yemen, have already joined. The part of the missiles in Israel have been launched by the Houthis. So this could very quickly become a war on almost all of Israel's borders, not apparently the border with Egypt and not the border with Jordan, the two major Arab countries with which Israel does have peace accords.
No, Dad, thank you so much for that. Thank you for
coming in after Israel earlier today, around 2 hours ago this Saturday, confirmed carrying out what it called a, quote, preemptive strike. The word's preemptive giving the sense that an incoming attack against Israel was going to occur, but we had no sense of that. We have not been given any details on that, indeed, by Israel or Iran. But then shortly after that, we know that Donald Trump confirmed that the United States military itself, with a huge armada, as we just saw the map there, a huge armada in the Persian Gulf, building up rapidly for many weeks now. It was initially seen as a threat to get Iran to the negotiating table and talks in good faith, but now it appears, well, was it a ruse to just attack Iran with Israeli help and not a negotiating tactic after all, but rather
For example, Donald Trump has already, with that speech, I'd say, differentiated or appeared to have differentiated his war aims as opposed to last year. Last year, the operation was more clearly aimed at degrading Iran's nuclear capabilities, at damaging its nuclear program. This time, Trump appears to have made quite clear in his speech that what he's seeking is not just the end of Iran's nuclear capabilities, but possibly opening the door to regime change. Now, what's interesting is we've seen how Donald Trump, each time he's gotten involved in an operation like this, he appears to have gone against a lot of advice from certain analysts, from certain advisors who have said, beware of the consequences.
Newsline that the IGRC, the Revolutionary Guards of Iran, has now announced a large-scale retaliatory operation against Israel. So we'll wait and see what was targeted there and the damage and what the ramifications will be. But for now, I will leave you with these images from Tehran. Stay with RT, both on air and online. All the
with his aims that he can escape with the worst doomsday predictions, if you like. Now, the problem here, as our correspondents have pointed out, is there is a big risk of mission creep like we saw in Iraq in 2003. If there's not a clear stated aim, a military objective, at what point does Donald Trump call off the bombing? At what point does Israel call off the bombing? So there will be pressure on him to perhaps be more clear with what his exact military objectives are here.
Very much unclear. Jerusalem.
Oh, the very immediate reality here, as you can hear, I think, are sirens, almost non-stop sirens, even in Jerusalem. I want to remind our viewers that this is Ramadan. We're almost in the middle of the holy month of Ramadan, the most important festivity in the Islamic calendar. And one of the theories is that this operation wouldn't start while Muslims were observing Ramadan. But here, as you see, we're mid-war, mid-month of Ramadan. And for now, at least in the very immediate future, it does appear that these are going to be non-stop attacks. Over Iran, it's non-stop from my understanding right now. U.S. and Israeli forces acting together, which has never before happened in an operation of this magnitude. It's probably worth stating. And I think we're seeing unpredictability and volatility in this whole region, something that the Gulf states certainly worked quite hard to avoid, and I expect they're going to keep working hard to try and stave off. But at this moment, with the explicit aims of unseating the government, the Islamic Republic of Iran, I think we're in for quite a ride. And here in Israel, it appears to be a massive retaliation thus far.
That was definitely the message echoed in Netanyahu's